everyone, my name is Chelsea and welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I bought more books. So I already did a book haul this month in March, but I didn't really want to wait until April to talk to you guys about what I bought. Cause yeah, I was doing really well with my book buying ban, and like technically this is one of those things that counts in like the rules I mentioned at the beginning of the year, that I could buy stuff, but it caught me by surprise. I didn't realize I was going to buy more things at the end of March, and I did anyway. So we're going to be talking about the things that I bought. Now, the reason I bought books and I didn't know I was going to buy them is because I bought a Humble bundle. I have done this before. I think I did it last year. I don't remember what the title of the bundle was, but it was a bundle of comics from Boom Studios. This time it was a bundle of comics from Image Comics, and those are like the two comic distributors, publishers that I end up buying the most from. And so when I saw the comics that were going to be in this bundle, I could not help myself. And so the name of this bundle was the Leading Ladies bundle. So all of the comics that we're going to be talking about today that I ended up purchasing and downloading and everything apparently have very strong female characters. And like I said, some of these comics I already had known about, and the fact that like some of the other ones I wanted to read but I haven't yet, it was just a lot of stuff that made me want to buy it. And the thing about the Humble bundle when it happens is usually it's a lot of things, so a lot of comics for a cheap price, and part of your sale goes to charity. And one thing that I do love about the Humble bundle thing, none of this is sponsored by the way, this is just me buying books, but you get to decide like how much of your fee, how much of your price goes to charity, and how much is going to the Humble bundle website and how much is going to like the comic publishers. So you can change that up if you would like. The charity that they were doing for this one is the Hero Initiative. I don't know too much about it, but they do have a bunch of information on the website. I will say by the time this video goes up, I don't think the Humble bundle will be available anymore. That was another reason that I bought it like when I did, is they only had a couple days left in the sale. And so yeah, this bundle I ended up spending $25 and I got 66 comics. But not just like 66 issues of comics. Most of these are volumes of comics. I did not download all 66 because I actually do have some in physical form and I didn't need an e-reader version as well. So I downloaded 44 that we will talk about today. But yeah, most of these are volumes. Like they actually had all 9 volumes of Saga on there by Brian K. Vaughan and Fiona Staples. They also had all 6 volumes of Paper Girls by Brian K. Vaughan and Cliff Chiang. Those ones I have definitely read before. And then some of the other ones that I have like volumes 1 through 3 of a series, volumes 1 through 4 of a series, that kind of thing. So I downloaded the later volumes. But like all of those volumes, like even just those volumes by itself for $25 is ridiculous. And I didn't even download those ones. I downloaded different ones. So let's go into what I have. 44 different titles here. Yeah. So the first one that I have here, I'm just going to be going in alphabetical order basically, is 86 Volts, The Dead Girl. This is by Mike Avon Oming and Brian J.L. Glass. It doesn't really look like there is a summary on Goodreads, and because I downloaded ebook versions of these things, I don't know what this one's about, but we do have a girl with like lightning on the cover, so that's very intriguing. Next, we also got Afar by Layla Del Duca and Kit Seaton. I'm loving the cover of this one so much. And it says, Botema suddenly develops the ability to astrally project to other worlds, unintentionally possessing the bodies of people light years away. In '02, her inquisitive brother with a penchant for trouble finds himself on the run after he's caught eavesdropping on an illegal business deal between small-town business tycoons and their cyborg bodyguard. Interesting. Okay, so this definitely seems like sci-fi and fantasy mixed together. And like I said, I love the cover, so I'm very intrigued. The next one, These ones actually are issues. I have the first 3 issues now of The After Realm by Michael Avon Oeming and Taki Soma. This looks more like old school comic style, has like an elfy character, and it does say, in the aftermath of Ragnarok, Una, an elven ranger, sets out into the post-apocalyptic chaos to discover the fate of the old gods. Okay, so we have some potentially like Norse mythology stuff going on with this as well. But like I said, we have the first 3 issues of this one. And then we have A Man Among Ye, Volume 1. I know it's not quite alphabetical order, but that's how they showed up in my apps. So, and this is by Stephanie Phillips. So this looks like it's going to be some sort of like piratey one. High adventure on the high seas in the waning days of piracy when men were men and the best pirates were women with a question mark. Okay, so that definitely sounds very intriguing. So that's the only volume we have of this one. It does look like there are potentially more in this series. Like there's another volume out, volume 2. But at least we get a start on this one. Next, there is Big Girls, Volume 1 by Jason Howard. So far, it looks like that might be the only volume out for it, and it does collect issues 1 through 6, so it's going to be a little bit of a longer one than some of the other volumes. When men become giant monsters destroying the world, only girls can stop them. Big Girls. Meet Ember. She writes poetry, loves to read. She's 300 feet tall, and her full-time job is killing monsters. Okay, so this one seems like it's going to be a little bit more action-y, but like, I'm down. Okay, so most of these ones that I was talking about before, I hadn't like fully heard of before, but this next one I definitely had heard of, and I just had never picked it up for myself, which is Bitch Planet by Kelly Sue DeConnick and Taki Soma and Valentine DeLandro. It looks like there's a lot of people that are doing like art and illustration, and we actually got the first 2 volumes of this. Actually, I think the 2 volumes is total, but then we also received Bitch Planet Triple Feature Volume 1, which is the 3rd collection of stuff here, but it's slightly different. I don't know why, but it actually looks like this is the entire series, which is great. It is an Eisner Award nominated writer doing this one, and it's a deliciously vicious riff on women in prison sci-fi exploration. Interesting, okay. In a future just a few years down the road in the wrong direction, a woman's failure to comply with her patriarchal overlords will result in exile to the meanest penal planet in the galaxy. When the newest crop of fresh femmes arrive, can they work together to stay alive, or will hidden agendas, crooked guards, and the deadliest sport on or off Earth take them to their maker? So this is one that I've always been intrigued by, but not quite enough to actually buy them for myself. So the fact that they came in a collection like this, I'm very excited to try those out. The next one we have here, we have 3 volumes out of 4, it looks like. It looks like we might be missing the last one, but that's fine. But we have Blue Monday by China Clugston Flores. The art on these covers, I'm absolutely loving. Being a teenager can be a difficult job, something the adult world can never understand. While to her parents and teachers, getting Adam Ant tickets is no big deal, to Blue L. Finnegan, it means everything. This could be the defining moment of her life, and there is no guarantee that she will ever achieve it. On the way, Blue must deal with the travails of adolescence, from prank-playing, porn-addicted boys to sexist pig radio disc jockeys, to trying to figure out how to show that dreamy substitute teacher that she's his perfect mate. Okay, this is supposed to be teenagers. I'm not entirely too sure about that specific storyline. We'll see. But it looks like these 3 books are ones that Image put together, but it was originally published like on Oni Press, which is like a more independent publishing one, so maybe they only needed to do 3 books for Image instead of 4. We'll see. Okay, and then we have Fairlady Volume 1 by Brian Shermer and Claudia Balboni. This looks to be the entire collection of comics, issues 1 through 5. I'm loving the fact that we have like a cat dude on here. I'm so curious about what this is going to be. Okay, so every fantasy epic ends with a war, but what happens when the war is over? And they're comparing it to procedural cases like Magnum P.I. and the Dresden File and Fables, but set in a rat queens like high fantasy worlds. Okay. After posing as a man to join the army, Jenner Falls returns home to the Feld for a new start as a fair man, a specifically licensed private investigator. But sexism doesn't end on the battlefield, and as the only fair lady, Jenner gets stuck with the cases nobody else wants. Hitting the streets to solve the Feld's overlooked mysteries, Jenner finds that the smallest cases hide the biggest secrets. Okay. Very interesting. Again, the cat dude is what's very intriguing to me. Okay, and so the next one we have has 2 volumes and it looks to be the entire series. It is Glitterbomb by Jim Zub, and then we have some contributors in here as well. The covers on these ones, again, are very intriguing. I've never heard of this one, although I have heard of Jim Zub. I've read some of his stuff before. And it says, Farah Durante is a middle-aged actress hunting for her next gig in an industry where youth trumps experience. Her frustrations become an emotional lure for something horrifying out beyond the water, something ready to exact revenge on the shallow, celebrity-obsessed culture that's led her astray. Okay, so I feel like this one's going to end up being a little bit more horror, maybe thriller-esque. But again, like I said, these covers, I've never heard of these ones before, but the covers are very, very intriguing. So, Okay, and then the next one we have here is ID by Emma Rios. This looks to be like a one and done type of comic. Like, it's only 80 pages. It's not a collection. The cover on this one is very, like, I don't want to say minimalist because there is a lot of like branches and stuff going on, but like when I first saw this I was like, is this actually a cover or is this like an inside flap? No, it is apparently the cover, and it says it's a dystopian tale that analyzes the conflict between perception and identity through the struggle of 3 people who consider a body transplant as a solution to their lives. That is very interesting. It has mixed reviews on Goodreads, so we'll have to see about that one. I bet the mixed reviews are partly because it is so short, because I know those ones for me are hit or miss sometimes. The next one is another one that I do for sure know about, and I've been wanting to read it for a while, and I just have never picked it up. Don't quite know why. I think the last time I ended up looking for it in the bookstore, they just didn't have the first volume in stock potentially. And it is going to be I Hate Fairyland by Scotty Young. We did actually receive all 4 volumes in this series, so I have the entire collection now. And the covers, again, are one of those things that have always drawn me in. Like, if you look at this, this is also one of those comics that I've heard people talk about. Like, when you talk about graphic novels and comics and stuff like that about, oh, these things are for kids or it's more juvenile, like, you look at this cover and yeah, she looks like a kid, but like, look at the axe she has on the first cover. Like, this is obviously not a kid's story. And so while you would think, oh, a Fairyland type of thing, that's for kids, it is not. So this says it's going to be an Adventure Time / Alice in Wonderland style epic that smashes its cute little face against grown-up, Tank Girl Deadpool-esque violent madness. And we are going to be following Gert, a 40-year-old woman stuck in a 6-year-old's body who has been trapped in the magical world of Fairyland for nearly 30 years. So yeah, like I said, she looks like a kid. She's not. I definitely want to read these ones. Another one I had never heard about actually, but I think we have probably the entire series, is Lady Mechanika by Joe Benitez. So we ended up receiving, I think, the first 6 volumes of this series, just double checking, yes, and it is the entire series. The girl in the front of this looks badass. I mean, that is sort of the entire point of the Leading Ladies bundle that we did, but I had never heard of this one, never seen the covers. It looks sort of steampunky. I could be mistaken because I have not read the summary yet, and I'm not the biggest steampunk fan. However, I feel like in comics that are very quick and easy to get through, it should be probably better than like if I was trying to read a novel that was steampunk. So let's see. Discover a beautifully illustrated steampunk world. So yes, about that, we're good. Of airships, monsters, and one courageous but haunted heroine. Okay, the tabloids dubbed her Lady Mechanika, the sole survivor of a mad scientist's horrific experiments, which left her with mechanical limbs. Having no memory of her captivity or her former life, Lady Mechanika eventually built a new life for herself as an adventurer and private investigator, using her unique abilities to solve the cases the proper authorities couldn't or wouldn't handle. But she never stopped searching for the answers to her own past. So it's set in a fictionalized steampunk Victorian England. So there is going to be magic, superstition, obviously steampunk stuff. I am very curious about this one, mostly because, like I said, I had never heard of this before. I'm not like super into steampunk stuff, but I will say right now I have a friend who on Goodreads rated the first volume 5 stars, and we do actually have some pretty similar tastes in books, so hopefully that is a good sign. Okay, Emma Rios is back, it looks like. We have Mirror the Mountain, which is volume 1, and Mirror the Nest, which is volume 2. This is going to be the whole series. Emma Rios is the author, and it looks like we have Hui Lim as the illustrator. And let me tell you, the illustrations on these covers, and I flipped through a couple pages on one of them when I was downloading stuff. I don't quite know which one, and it was only at the very beginning, but they look absolutely gorgeous. Like, these covers are like watercolor-esque. I am very excited to see about this one. So this says, a mysterious asteroid hosts a collection of strange creatures. Man-animal hybrids, mythological creatures made flesh, guardian spirits, cursed shadows, and the humans who brought them to life. But this strange society exists in an uneasy truce, in the aftermath of uprisings seeking freedom and acceptance that have only ended in tragedy. Interesting. As the ambitious, the desperate, and the hopeful inhabitants of the asteroid struggle to decide their shared fate, a force greater than either animal or human seems to be silently watching the conflict, waiting for either side to finally answer the question, what is worthy of being human? Okay, first of all, that was a long-ass sentence, but I'm very curious about this one. Again, the art looks amazing, but it looks like it's going to be very weird fantasy, sort of like questioning stuff. I want to know what this is about. Then we have all 6 volumes of Monstress by Marjorie M. Liu and Sana Takeda, who is the illustrator. I actually read volume 1 last year, gave it 5 stars. Like, I'm super intrigued and ready to continue the series. I read it on loan from my library, so I didn't own a copy, so I actually did download all 6 issues. And so this is set in an alternate matriarchal 1900s Asia in a richly imagined world of Art Deco inflected steampunk. Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily say this is steampunk, but we definitely have very interesting sort of monsters and technology-esque sort of stuff. And it says it tells the story of a teenage girl who is struggling to survive the trauma of war and who shares a mysterious psychic link with a monster of tremendous power. You can't really get into more of Monstress because I feel like I didn't get enough answers in the first book to actually know what this is going to be about, but I really loved what I did read, and so I'm very excited to have the rest of the series now, including the first book, because I might have to reread that one before I continue, but, you know, from this collection. And then we also have Rat Queens by Curtis J. Wiebe. So I know I've previously read the first 3 volumes of Rat Queens. So I have not read volumes 4 through 8, so those are the ones that I downloaded. I believe the first 3 volumes of Rat Queens has 1 artist, and then they switched after that because I believe of some sort of like conflict or something was going down. The artist was accused of something that I think must have been true because they did for sure switch artists. I don't 100% know off the top of my head what that was about, but I remember hearing stuff about that between volume 3 and volume 4. And so I think there was a bit of a break between volume 3 and volume 4, but I'm very, very excited to read the rest of these now because I have volumes 1 through 3. I read them. I loved them. And now we have 4 through 8. And so this is basically like a D&D type world, but we follow just a group of women warriors. I think each one of them is basically from a different sort of species or a different sort of fighting style. And so yes, I'm very, very excited to jump back into this world. Okay, so we have another one from China Clugston Flores, although it looks like George Cambadas, I might have totally mispronounced that, is the illustrator. And this is going to be Scooter Girl. It looks like it is a one and done type of story, no extra volumes that we're missing. And it says, take a ride to Southern California and experience a screwball dark comedy classic. A love letter to mod and scooter culture. It is the story of Ashton Archer, the Vespa-riding, swanky suit-wearing man about town who has it all. That is until lightning strikes when the girl of his dreams motors right past him on her Lambretta, causing him to lose it all. Interesting. I don't know for sure if this is one that would necessarily have been for me, but because we have it, like, I'm obviously going to try it out. Okay, the next one we have is very intriguing to me, insofar as the fact that we have Street Angel, Deadliest Girl Alive by Jim Rugg and Brian Maruca. On Goodreads, this is saying this is the second volume. It's going to have issues 4 through 8. We did not receive a first volume or anything, so I don't know if that means it's separate from issues 1 through 3 or what it is. The cover is also very intriguing. Again, probably not one that I would have picked up by myself. I have never heard of this before. And it says, Jessie Street Angel Sanchez is a homeless ninja girl on a skateboard. In between kicking ass and taking sandwiches, she fights bullies, street gangs, ninjas, the man, cocky superheroes, hunger, and the ninja industrial complex. She also rescues a stray dog, makes weird new friends, and saves Christmas? With exclamation mark, question mark, exclamation mark. So this collection includes all of Street Angel's Image Comics adventures, plus a couple of extra stories and behind the scenes materials. Okay, so maybe they did some like other comics that weren't from Image specifically, that were the first part of the series, but it also sounds like this might be a collection more of short stories than like one overarching sort of story. So that makes sense why we only have like volume 2 instead of something else. And then the only other thing that we have here is Wayward. This is again going to be by Jim Zub. And so we did actually receive all 6 volumes in this bundle. However, I own the first 4. I've read the first 3. Volume 4 I own but have not read because I think I realized when I bought that one that there was only supposed to be a couple more volumes after that, and so I wanted to collect them and then read them all together, and I just didn't continue buying them. So I did download volumes 5 and 6 so that eventually I can probably reread the first 3 and then read 4, 5, and 6 as well. Again, this is another series that I read the first 3, absolutely loved what I did read. It's a very, very fun sort of series. And it says, Rory Lane is trying to start a new life when she reunites with her mother in Japan, but ancient creatures lurking in the shadows of Tokyo sense something hidden deep within her, threatening everything she holds dear. Can Rory unlock the secrets of her power before it's too late? So yes, from what I remember, this is going to be a girl who I believe is like half Japanese, half Irish or Scottish. And she ends up going to Tokyo, and her and a few other kids have this sort of potential power in them. And it's going to be, like they said here, Buffy the Vampire Slayer sort of combined with Hellboy. And I just really enjoyed what I did read of it, but obviously I only got like halfway through the series, so I do need to continue. According to my notes and everything here, that should be all 44 things that I downloaded. And then like I mentioned before, they did also include all of the 9 volumes of Saga, all the 6 volumes of Paper Girls, and then also the other ones that I didn't download were like the first 3 volumes of Rat Queens and the first 4 volumes of Wayward. So those are the 22 books that I did not download out of this 66 book bundle. But like that's a lot, and only 3 individual ones were like individual comics. There was a couple things that are standalones, but most of these are comic series that we got in volumes. A volume of a comic is usually what, at least $15 each, and I definitely just got like so many for 25. So yeah, that was why I bought comics. Like I said before, by the time this video goes up, it's probably not going to be available anymore. I did post about it in my Instagram stories. Anytime I find like really good deals like this, I do try to post about them, let you guys know. The reason I found out of it was because of somebody else in the book community who posted about it on their stories. Like, this is just the whole thing. And so yeah, I was doing so well this month too. I think I talked about it in my book haul. Like before even the end of the month, I was down how many books I needed to be like, from like my own TBR. I had brought it down and I was still had time to read in the month. Like, I was doing so well. And I'm adding 44 new titles now to my list. Actually 43, because I officially have read Monstress Volume 1 already. Like, that's not going to go on my TBR. 43 other books though are going to go on my TBR. I think that might have screwed up my entire first 3 months of the year. Okay, yeah, I should stop talking. But yeah, I wanted to be held accountable. I wanted to let you guys know about all of the ebooks that I have received. And yeah, there was no way I was gonna wait until next month to do this. So we have a whole brand new video just for this, of me admitting my failings. Even though, like I said before, I did give myself some like little loophole things in my book buying ban, and one of them is like ebook sales. Like there is no way you can pass up, well, I mean, maybe some people can, but I couldn't. There was no way I could pass up, what, 44 to 66 titles for $25, especially when they're like volumes of things. And yeah, that's it. If you guys like this video, give it a thumbs up to let me know. Subscribe to this channel if you'd like to see more videos. I do have videos up Tuesdays and Thursdays, so I will see you then. Bye.